what created a world of lovers and fans for you was that you were real. You were as close as it can and as different as you are right now to everybody. And your soups, your juices, they all became a cult. They became a trend. They
Yeah.
became a fad. They became viral. Now, wellness, as we see, is something that you kind of propagated, you've adopted, you've adapted in various forms of your life. We, beyond the book and beyond what we saw in the series, tell us that one wellness ritual.
So you've said a lot of things, so I'm going to answer bit by bit. So when I was filming the series, I used to almost call up my therapist every day. She was also on the show. I used to tell her everybody is going to think I'm a rich spoiled brat, and I used to be like, everyone's going to think I'm this, and then I used to say, but I am a rich spoiled brat. And then, but you know what, I realized that camera doesn't lie. So it caught the bit of honesty, the genuineness that I had. Camera caught that. And all these nuskas, Delhi, as we know, Delhi is the capital of Jugaad. So we have a solution for everything. We think we are doctors, we think we are lawyers, we think we are plumbers, we are everything. If somebody can do it, a professional can do it, Delhi people can do it better. So that chip of Delhi I have on my shoulder. I say I can do everything. मैं खुद कुछ कर सकती हूँ. And 2 days ago, I met this chef, Vikas Khanna. He was here from New York. And he said, my dentist showed me your clip and said, this is, if you want to drink coffee, please drink coffee with a straw. And the entire dentist community has actually passed that video on to so many of their people who would come regularly for cleaning and stuff like that. So I come up with all these things as self-preservation, because that's what it was. It's just the need to self-preserve in my own way rather than, just listening to what other people had to say.
And that's a great one, but Delhi is just not a city of jugars, it's also a city of aping. So the first ones to ape drinking coffee with a straw was Delhi. Half of Delhi has taken to it. So welcome
Champagne
to our
also.
Champagne also. There you go.
Yeah.
So let the flutes fly and go wherever they want to. We are happy with a straw on that.
Yeah.
Uh, Somewhere in the book you've mentioned that you were, you never had the confidence of facing camera. You always had that shyness and that hesitation about talking, going up on stage fear, all of that in your growing up years. What shifted that you accepted a Netflix series that's really, that you really need a lot of guts to kind of go in front of a camera on a reality show or on a candid show?
Yeah. So growing up in school, I really enjoyed dancing, and I did have some sort of presence, but I was very scared of the camera because I thought I looked better in person than I looked in camera. One was that. I felt my nose looked very big on camera and in real as well. And I thought my voice sounded like a child's voice. And I used to really admire people who had this sexy voice. And I used to really wish, and I used to look at them when they spoke, this, how are they speaking? Like, where is this voice coming from and why is my voice like this? So for the longest time, I used to be very, very conscious of my voice and the way I looked on camera. In 2018, I started on this journey where I said, I have to get over the phobia of the camera because the times had changed. It was almost crippling. People, instead of, getting a written interview, would ask for a picture or a video interview or a video bite, and then I was just not happening. And then I wanted to do a travel show, which I wanted to, do it with a big OT platform. So to get out of the inhibition, I started I started shooting a lot. So I shot all over India, from Leh, Ladakh, Pondicherry, Bikaner, Jaisalmer, Dharamshala. But that actually never materialized because the networks felt that I needed a larger audience. And when I was offered this series by Karan, I definitely, and they said they were coming to Delhi. And I love Delhi and I love shooting in my home because I don't have to leave the house. It saves me time, travel time and everything. And I thought, why not? And it's going to be fun. So that's how it just started.
Your book talks a lot about reinvention. Yeah. You reinvent, you often say in your conversations that I like to rediscover and reinvent myself on a day-to-day basis. Tell us about your journey across many decades of reinvention, what has been the most iconic part of it? What has been the most monumental part of your
I think for
reinvention?
me, when anybody is able to point me down, like anybody is able to say this is what Shalini Pasi is, I'm kind of defiant and I go and change it. The day they say she's this and this, I hate being in boxes, I hate being in categories. The day they'll say, oh, she's whatever she is, I want to go and change it. Like this is, I'm kind of rebellious, but not openly rebellious, but in my own head. So for me, I don't want to be defined. I've never wanted to be defined. I've never wanted to be confined. I've remained in, like, but I want to be free. I want to be open. So for me, the idea of being free, for me, the idea of just being, that's the main thing for me.
So if somebody says Shalini Pasi is not this, will you try and prove to say I am that?
Well, I won't do it just to prove it, but it will feed on my subconscious mind, and eventually, if I get an opportunity, I will hit back.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes out in
That's
the book.
why I just stay like really on my own, because I don't want to hear what anybody has to say because it does play. Like I'm a human being, like everybody else.
all of us.
But for me, instead of pulling me down, it has a different effect on me. So.
Great. Let's come back to the part that we're all here for, is also the net series, Fabulous Lives. One high and one low. What was the high about being part of the series?
I think the high was being in front of the camera and jumping into the water as many times as I wanted to. But that was the high for me. I loved it. And I think the low was when the shooting ended, because I was really liking romancing the camera. So for me, when the shooting finished, then it was, then I started writing the book, so I had to take a break. And yeah.
So I think this is a question I put together when I came to the end of the book, that at the end of the book, you reflect on what you hope will remain after you. What do you truly hope for?
So for me, I think I honestly feel that there's so much that I need to achieve, and there's so much that I need to do. I want to work on things that are bigger than myself, and I hope I'm able to do that. And for that, I need everybody as well. It's not just me. It's a collective thing.
What next, Shalini? You've been a collector, you've been a philanthropist, you've now faced the camera, you are going to surprise everybody with a short movie role also. What next? Now you got a book before The Fabulous Nest came out in another way. What next?
So what next? There are lots of things. There are lots of announcements that are going to happen this year. So you have to stay tuned.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's Shalini Pasi, always going to surprise you, never disclosing what it is. So let's keep waiting, because it is going to be a pleasant one at that.
Yes. Thank you.